It is time for a session that I expect will be a highlight that many of you have marked in your diaries. It is charting a new course, an update on Curacao's progressive gambling legislation. Now, I visited Curacao many moons ago myself. It is such a beautiful place. I know it's got a very special place in the hearts of many people here and in this industry. And right now, we are very honored to welcome the Minister of Finance from Curacao, who's going to provide a comprehensive update on the current status of the approaching legislation, including some exclusive insights for your good selves. So, my dear friends, please join me. It's a real honor to have him here. Please welcome to the stage the Minister of Finance from Curacao, the Honorable Javier Silvania. Thank you. Welcome, Minister. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Javier Silvania, and I am the Minister of Finance of Curacao. We are here at iGaming NEXT in Malta, a place of significance and prominence in the international community, to discuss an issue of great importance, the future of gambling legislation in Curacao. In the spirit of progress and adaptation, last November, I had the privilege to announce our intent to introduce revised gambling legislation in Curacao. We recognize that our existing law fell short, failing to address the ever-evolving technological advancements and operational complexities of today's gambling landscape. Furthermore, our regulator, the Gaming Control Board of Curacao, lacked the necessary tools and permissions to effectively oversee this significant and vital industry. Regrettably, this poor governance has resulted in lax practices within gambling operations, particularly concerning anti-money laundering measures, fraud prevention, and player protection. While the majority of operators uphold integrity and adhere to best practices, we cannot overlook the fact that some have tarnished our nation's reputation. For far too long, the action of a few have cast a shadow upon the many, diminishing the value of a Curacao gambling license. Today, I declare that this situation will no longer be tolerated. Change is not an option, it is unavoidable. When I took office 2 years ago, my primary focus was to modernize our country gambling regulation. I proudly introduced the National Ordinance on Game of Chance, known as the LOC, which is currently progressing through the parliamentary process. After meticulous drafting and extensive consultation, the LOC was presented early this month to the Country Council of Advice, a crucial and final step before presenting the law to the Parliament. While I express my satisfaction with the progress of this legislation and eagerly anticipate its enactment, I have become increasingly aware in the past month of troubling corporate behaviors. Even as the new legislation looms on the horizon, I shall not permit unsavory activities to persist. Immediate action is warranted. To that end, I have directed the Gaming Control Board to begin implementing and upholding the new standard prescribed by the forthcoming legislation. To achieve this, the Gaming Control Board will start issuing brand new licenses directly to gambling operators, effective upon the 1st of October 2023. These licenses will be granted under the current legislation, but when the new legislation is finally enacted, these licenses will seamlessly transition into the new regulatory framework under the applicable conditions. Regarding current operators established in Curacao that are offering online gaming under a so-called master's license, I have previously expressed my commitment to ensure the uninterrupted continuation of their businesses while transitioning their operation to a direct license. And rest assured that this remains the case. It's pained me to hear that Curacao licenses have been labeled as quick and easy to obtain, accompanied by lesser obligation and less monitoring compared to other jurisdictions. However, let it be known that this sentiment will be reversed through the new legislation. We want to know who own the businesses operating from within our borders by conducting appropriate and consistent level of due diligence. We require transparency regarding the source of funds flowing into our country, ensuring they come from legal activities untainted by drugs, arms, or trafficking. We insist that operators adhere to legislation that align with reputable jurisdictions and at the very least meets the minimum requirement of international law and guidance on anti-money laundering. We demand robust player protection and data security. Curacao shall no longer be known as the red-headed stepchild of the gambling industry. From now on, we will hold all operators accountable to internationally recognized standards within the gambling industry. The lock, which includes the establishment of a completely new regulatory body known as the Curacao Gaming Authority, will not only prevent but also mitigate any unwelcome and unlawful activities. In an era defined by digital connectivity and borderless online gaming, it is imperative that we uphold consistent standards that transcend geographical boundaries. Curacao recognizes the need to align its regulation with international standards, codes of conduct, and inter-industry best practices. And rest assured that is precisely what we intend to do. I, as the Minister of Finance, along with the regulatory body, remain firm in our commitment to cooperation and fostering close relationship with our global counterparts. Together, we aim to cultivate a cohesive and harmonized regulatory environment. By collaborating with and alongside other jurisdictions, we ensure a level playing field for operators and suppliers, all while safeguarding the interests of players and preserving the integrity of the gaming industry as a whole. The path I embarked upon from the very first draft of the law is one that leads to a brighter future for Curacao and for the gambling industry at large. It is a path paved with integrity, accountability, and transparency. I'm looking forward to the next generation of the Curacao gambling industry. Thank you.